The wait is over. You were waiting, right?
Oh, God. No. Please, no.
The end is nigh. Darwin and Cat are back.
Last week, we touched on our spectacular demise, and Darwin will have more about our implosion coming up in future episodes. But today, we're looking at our sponsors.
Radio's free because, well, commercials. And I think it's the thing that nobody likes, but hey, it's free. And that's the way it is. But we had a rough start.
We were the cheap station, and I actually overheard one of the managers talking about how they're selling our morning spots for $5 a pop. And I came to you and I told you that, and you're like, no, that's just an expression in radio. They don't literally sell our spots for $5. They were.
Yeah, which it is. Like $1 a holler was kind of a joke for spots they were giving away. Come to find out, no, in fact, they were selling us for $5. And initially, they were not trying to actually sell our spots to anybody legitimate. They were selling them to strip clubs, smoke shops, to sell
quote unquote smoke shops. Yeah.
Yeah. Glass pipes. Is that what they called them? I forget what they.
Tobacco.
Wink, nod. In the years that wasn't a thing legally. But as time went on, we started to get legitimate sponsors. We'd start to get some of the car dealers. We'd start to get people that actually were a little more, what's the word I want to be?
Are you going for reputable / not a dildo shop?
Yes.
Okay.
Outstanding. There we go.
There you go.
A broader swath of the population would be shopping at. How's that?
Perfect.
And we started making, stations started making money, and they started actually charging a more normal rate for the spots. So just a little backstory. The company that owned us, I feel like the guy that owned the company went around buying businesses that were the most prone to recession: hotels, restaurants, car dealerships, and radio stations, right? So when there's like a recession, you lose out across the board.
Yeah, they all go in the shitter.
Yeah, the sign company that did the signage and wraps on cars, the gym membership, right? They own that too.
Well, nobody goes to the gym after January 2nd.
That's true. But I felt like every business that he owned when you're in a recession, none of them were recession proof. And it was just kind of but the car dealerships, they were the bread and butter. There were always car dealers around in the building. And what happened is sometimes they would come in and say, hey, they got a lot of good deals down here on whatever model they're selling. And can you just put them on the air and talk? There was usually everybody would roll their eyes and just do it. And us being the redheaded stepchild bastard in the corner, we would always do it because we were nice and we knew our place. And do you remember there was one time, though, there was one morning where every station was like, no, we're too busy. No.
And they get to us and we're like, okay, we'll sell your Ford Probe. What do you need us to do?
Except for the trick in radio, and these guys didn't understand radio at all, was we had it was called a shortcut. It was a little device to record phone calls on, or by then I think we had a Vox Pro, another better version of the shortcut, right? With a screen at it. And I just simply went in and we pretended to be on the air. So we were playing music and I'm like, 104.9 The Edge, blah, 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 blah. We got this guy with us from the car dealership. And you and I talked to him like he was on the radio for real.
Come on over, Murray. Come on over. Yeah, I got a Probe. I got a Ford Century Camrys Select. And we just let him roll.
I love that you also rolled a lot of car brands together right there.
Whatever he was selling. They had them all.
And then I emailed him after, can I get a copy of that? And I knew he was going to ask, so I'd recorded it. And
sure. That's the worst.
I email it off. It never goes on the air. We weren't getting paid to put it on the air, so I wasn't doing anything bad. I was just trying to be nice. And I just got to tell you, this poor guy, He comes in the studio, and I don't know what accident he'd been in, if it even involved a car at some point or something. But remember his eyes? He had like the wonky eye where he was across the room and he was looking at both you and me, but we were not.
We didn't know if he was coming or going. We couldn't tell.
Yeah. He's looking over here and over there. And I wasn't sure. He was talking to both of us at once, and we were what? How many feet apart were we? Like maybe.
I don't know. He probably couldn't tell. I don't think he had much depth perception.
But he was talking to both of us at once. We were nowhere near each other. But
it was really the tough thing, because management would come to us and say, hey, we want so-and-so on the air. He wants to sell X amount of cars. Just make it fun. Make a little game with him.
So we did. We played along. We get off the air. Everything's fine. We forget about it. The next day we get off the air. The secretary for the owner's wife comes marching right up to us, and she's like, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. You got to go meet with the missus. You got to go meet with the owner's wife. And we're like, what do you mean?
No.
He sold 6 cars yesterday after being on your show. It's because of you.
It was a miracle. You guys are amazing.
They're going to offer you big bucks to do live endorsements for the next few months. And we're like,
really?
But you hear dollar signs, and
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
paid like real money that like buys food
Cat.
with presidents on them.
We didn't air it. We didn't do this. It
Shut
never
up, Darwin.
happened.
I want to get my hair done.
So we have to go meet the receptionist, and you're just you're essentially with your eyes kicking me under the table. Shut up. So we get in there. And we sit down, and we're sitting at the desk, and there's all these papers upside down. You start elbowing me, and you're pointing at the credit card bill.
We saw it sitting on her desk, and it was a lot of charges for liquor stores, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like
charge after charge.
Bill's Discount Liquor Mart.
It was multiple liquor stores. It was just this giant credit. And yes, the woman had a reputation for having a lot of cheer. So I don't blame her. We drank
She
too,
was
right?
possibly a bit of a boozer. We don't know.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
So
A little nip.
clearly.
Little nightcap.
And then so we thought, all right, if she can afford to do this, we don't want to do these live reads. We did not want to do them. So I said, we're going to ask for an outrageous amount of money. Like, we're a crazy amount of money. And they sat there, and I forgot what number we threw out. I think we threw out something like 500 per live read. And they looked at us and they were like, okay. And then I said, each. And then they were like, oh, okay.
Well, let me just jump in and say we took inspiration from Marlon Brando in Godfather 2. He just like threw out a huge amount of money to be in the movie. And he's just like, oh, they're never going to go for it. So we figured, you know what? We'll just throw it out. They're never going to go for it.
They did.
It was insane. They did.
And now we're stuck. And we got to talk about these cars we have no interest in that nobody's going to buy. The scripts were terrible because they were writing them for us. But hey, the guy's like the guy with the eyes. It's like, I wrote some comedic scripts for you. They're real fun. They're funny.
You two's like humor, right? This is going to crack yous up.
So bad. It was so awful. And I could just hear radio dials being punched, not turned off gently, punched through dashboards every time we did this on the show. How long did that last before they were like, we're not selling any cars?
It didn't last long, maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. We made bank.
It was the gravy train while it lasted.
We tried to tell them this isn't going to go anywhere. Speaking of cars, there was that one promo. I know we've mentioned it a little bit that I really, really loved. I think it's come up in an earlier episode. If your car was dead,
have it crushed by red.
I liked that promo. They brought us down to this junkyard. It was by the railroad, like a rail yard. And there's like oil tankers and there's trains and there's the interstate I-90 right there. And there's this guy with like a red beard and red hair. And if your car was dead,
he's got a hook and a parrot and an eye patch.
Yeah. And he was all excited because you're pretty petite. And he was like, little lady gonna crush a car. What would you like? And he was letting you pick from this row of vehicles. And you did so good about this.
He's like, you can pick anyone you want, little lady. And I'm just kind of looking all around like, nah, it's a little Volkswagen. I don't really feel like harming a Camry. The minivan. I want to murder the minivan.
And you did. And all you had to do was push a button. And I had faith in you that you would push the right one, the red one that said crush. Now, this was part of his thing, though, because if you brought your car down to crush it, he actually allowed people to come in and push the big red button.
It's such a great feature. I wanted to carry that over into my everyday life.
Bring a big red button with you and crush things.
Just have a suitcase with the launch codes and ultimate power. Yeah, no, that was really, really fun.
That was strangely fun. I think it was pretty well received because he would come get your car if it was dead in your driveway. Hey, Red will come pick it up. He'll drag it. What was it like? Remember he had a whole thing that was like drag it, something it. I don't know.
Stuff garlic in its mouth, drive a stake through its engine, and it's gone.
Whatever it was, he would get it there and he would crush it. And he was so passionate about it. He's like, yeah, first we drain the oil out of it, make sure it's all environmental and no gas. And then we pull whatever we can scrap from the inside. And he went through.
And then we pull the family out and then we make sure.
Usually pull the family out. You checked. You asked if they're in the minivan first. You were very conscious.
I'm like, are the kids still strapped in? Because I don't want this. I don't want this on my conscience.
There was something satisfying about seeing a minivan crushed. I still remember that sometimes when I'm driving around and I see them and they're in my way. Right?
You're like, I wish Kat was here because she could destroy that.
And I think I asked something about if we could crush a bus or something. And he said, someday.
I like how you dream big.
I do. But him too. He was like, someday.
Yeah, he had a twinkle in his eye, like, you know what? We've been working towards that for years. Hell, I want to crush the space shuttle.
Have it crushed the space shuttle? Did you say crush the space shuttle?
Well, I mean, they had a big yard.
They did. They had plenty of room for it. So, and there were other more traditional sales things where we finally get excited. We've been asking for a bar night forever. And remember, they finally booked us at a bar night.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a Friday night. Okay, we'd be tired, but hey, it's a bar night. Except for we had to travel there. So it wasn't really right in the urban core. And I think do you know what bar I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, we were sent to an old school lesbian bar. I think it was actually called Linda's Clam Shack.
Yeah.
It was a solid gig. I mean, but the bar, you're right. The bar was out of our coverage area.
You couldn't even hear our station there.
No, but do you remember what did come in on 104.9?
Yes, the complete opposite of what we were broadcasting.
It was the religious station. And I just remember when we got there and the interns were setting up all the equipment at the bar and they put 104.9 blasting and it was a preacher yelling, Jesus! And then it went into a song.
Yeah, it was the Lord's station. So there was like an LPFM that was licensed on the same frequency as us, just outside of our coverage area, up in Glens Falls, New York. And as we're getting up there and what is happening?
And I looked around and I'm like, Darwin, I think we're supposed to preach the good book to all the ladies here.
We are in a lesbian bar with Jesus music blasting. This is great. What else could make this night better? So and this went on, though. They had us back the next week and the next week and the next week. But about a month later, we realized something very embarrassing, that it was not, in fact, Linda's Clam Shack anymore.
Oh, no. All the
Remember,
good
it
places
was
go away.
That the lesbian bar had closed a year or two prior, and nobody clued us into this, that it was not a lesbian bar at all. It was just some sports bar, and that all those people there were actually men and women. And we were just confused for this whole time.
I'm sorry, ma'am, sir.
How stupid are we for a
I don't
whole
want to
month we're
judge
telling
people if someone looks like a linebacker,
Right. We just accepted
I didn't
that
know.
was the Bull Dyke or very Butch, right?
I think it's Bull Daddy. Yeah.
Well, they weren't even that.
Oh.
But who told us it was a lesbian bar outside of our coverage area?
Did we just assume that Linda's Clam Shack was a lesbian bar? Was that just on us?
It was just on us
Okay.
because it was wrong on Google Maps or something. I don't know. It used to be. So the lesbian bar closed and nobody told us. But we kept talking about it and nobody corrected us at all. They thought we were making a joke or so. I don't know. And then we got sick of doing it. And I think the midday person or the afternoon guy or somebody's like, hey, I think there was a week we were sick or something. And right.
There's always some midday guy who's like, hey, I like clams. I'll take it over.
It was such a weird. How was that helping our listenership?
It wasn't. I don't know if any of our remotes really helped our listenership. It's just to sell clams in cars.
And I really would like to know, there were no clams there at the bar. The clams left with the ladies. There
was still a waft of clam.
My question is, the person who owned the bar,
Linda.
What? Stop yourself. Was maybe what kind of money are you spending when you're advertising with a radio station that's not even in your market, not even audible there?
Well, I'll tell you, says Linda. My kids, they love this Darwin and Cat, and I hear those two love seafood, so I invited them up with their equipment and their funny voices.
And that's how we were making. Okay, well, maybe that's what it was. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda. Wherever you are.
On the subject of things Linda's into, the sales guy was in his 80s. Remember him?
Yeah.
I don't think he was actually in his 80s, but I think he's one of those people that when he was 20, he looked 40, and when he was 40, he looked 80.
It's what I call born 40.
That guy. He was the one who was really kind of mousy and weird, but also insisted on selling us all of the adult shops.
Well, somehow he managed to get us our first decent sponsor. And yeah, it was a sex shop.
How do you call that decent? That's like our indecent
I'm all about the
sponsor.
money, Darwin.
Okay, true. Money talks.
Yeah, they're paying
All right,
up a
that's
little
true.
bit. But do you remember they gave him a goodie bag to take back to the station? They wanted to show us all like, hey, this is what we got and we want to share it with you. But he didn't look inside of it before he tossed it in his car.
Yeah, and his favorite phrase was like, oh dear.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
dear.
He walked inside with this big
Oh, dear.
sack of stuff and he plopped it down on your desk and he opened it and he looked inside and he just went, oh dear. And
That's how he said it. Just
oh
like that.
dear. It was every type of dildo in existence, every color, Creed, double-sided, extra attachments, buzzing, twirling. They really hooked him up.
Sparkling.
Everything you could want.
It was all of them. And then there was the other time he came with an armload of them without the sack. And
What, it's like, did you want to buy a bag? No.
No. And they were prizes to give away. And he walked up to me with the arm. And this guy always annoyed me. I had low tolerance for him. And this is that he walked up to me and said, Darwin, oh dear. Or how say you do it better. Oh dear.
Darwin, can you help me? I got a bad back and this triple donger is really tweaking it.
No, he says, Darwin, where should I put these? And you knowing me, you slapped your hand on my mouth. Like,
don't you say it? We gotta play nice with this guy. No, Darwin, where do I put this?
Where should I put this? You like practically slapped me out of my chair. Hand on my face. Like, I've never seen you move so
Missed
fast.
opportunity.
Oh, you stopped me.
Yeah,
you knew.
I did. I regret that. I
Probably.
regret stopping it. What was on my mind?
I don't, because I might have told him exactly where they could have gone. Because who walks in?
It was an armload.
It was. I've never seen so many in my life. And an 80-year-old like coming in with them.
He should have had those little old people scooters and just put them in the basket.
That would have been even worse. How is that better?
Just like ding, 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 drive it up to your desk.
Darwin, where should I put these? Oh, God. And he was our best sales guy at first, too. That's the worst part. That's why I had to be nice to him, right?
He was great. And the dildo shop ladies were really nice, too. Like, whenever we'd go in, they'd make a big fuss.
What do you mean, whenever we'd go in? I never went in there.
Oh, I went in a couple times. No, didn't we? No, we went to visit there.
I never went there.
Oh, that wasn't you?
No. Who did you go there with? I didn't go there. Was this the one under the bridge in Troy?
Maybe the old guy and I had a date.
I feel like if I went there, I blocked it out of my memory. I don't.
Yeah, I think we went there.
Think I'd remember this. I don't know. Maybe this is when I had the head injury and I blacked it out.
It was the strangest thing, though, because I remember we set one of them up at your desk and we were like, and we were like letting it go. And there were all these attachments. And I mean, I'm a girl. I know what's going on down there. I couldn't even figure out where these go.
Why was it my desk? How come we picked my desk? Why is it always me?
My desk was a disaster. It was an
mine was organized.
Avalanche of CDs. This is before I organized
papers.
it.
What do you mean before you organized it?
We organized our desks one day and we cleaned everything out and they thought we were quitting.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. You cleaned your desk and they thought you quit.
Yeah, they thought I
was always organized.
Yeah, they thought I found another job.
That's right. That's right. And then we had to have a meeting because everybody was so concerned. I forgot that.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's how bad your desk was.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So that was that. But I'm glad we did move on eventually and get better. And I think they were very sad when he couldn't go back there anymore because they couldn't afford to advertise after our rates went up. Good. Then there was when we got a little heavy and you broke the chair.
Yeah.
They came to us and said, Gold's Gym is doing their Gold's Gym challenge. Would you guys like to sign up? And we thought,
hey, I don't know. I thought maybe that's a good idea. We can like get in shape and I don't know. What do you think?
I like it. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this like when you give the person in the office the toothpaste and the toothbrush because they need it?
Hey, situation? I'm having a mint. Do you want a mint?
Right. Was that this scenario? Because we were we were walking in the door sideways.
Do you think leadership had a meeting? You know, Darwin and Cat have broken 4 chairs in Q1. I think we need to do something.
I mean, we were getting big, like on the air and
in life.
Yeah, and it was starting to become a concern. So I said, hell yeah, we'll jump on this. But then when I realized we had to have a weigh-in, I started like trying to lose weight really quickly.
Yeah.
Because but it was just so stupid because the point of the weigh-in was to show how heavy you were at the beginning and how much progress you made at the end.
Well, it's like cleaning before the cleaning lady gets there. I totally get it.
Right. But that was dumb because at the end, I didn't have as much weight lost because my weigh-in was less. It was counterproductive, but still, that was horrible. And it was humiliating. I mean, our trainer, I think was his name Dominic.
Yes.
I feel like it was Dominic. He was great. And it was on this crazy diet. I remember there being a lot of apples.
Well, we stopped going to buffets. That
was the first step
with our horrible diet because we'd get off the air at 10 a.m. and we would be starving. And we'd be like pulling on the doors of a steakhouse and they're not open yet.
No.
We had really bad eating habits at that point.
And I don't do buffets now at all. I
don't
can't.
eat. Oh no.
Oh, they're so gross.
No.
And I think about all the people who touch all the handles and all the, ugh. And I just can't. Like, I can't believe I ever ate at a buffet.
You don't want to be the guy who wipes down the sneeze guard at the end of the night.
I don't even want to go into a buffet.
You don't want to eat anywhere with a sneeze guard.
No. I think if I go somewhere and it's that buffet style, I'd rather starve because people are disgusting.
That's a viable option. Absolutely.
Totally. If I find out it's buffet style, I'll bring food. I will just not eat. I will leave and go get. I'm for real. Like, I have turned into that, especially post COVID. I'm like, ugh. But this was our life. We didn't care what disease we got apparently back then. Yeah, China buffet, whatever buffet. So we had to cut that out, and we were on this diet with a lot of apples. I remember that. But I felt so bad because you were more sensitive to, because girls are more. I think it's a little stereotypical, but true, right?
It is true. And girls lose weight, at least in my experience, a lot more slowly than guys do. Guys can be like, oh, I skipped one piece of pound cake and I lost 40 pounds. And girls are like, I've been starving for 4 months and I lost half a pound. It's like my body just like holds on to every last bit of fat and Tootsie Rolls and Pringles and whatever the hell else was in there.
I took a healthy dump this morning. I lost 5 pounds.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I get it.
And that's a guy. So I hated this. And as he said, Dominic would start our training session by weighing us. And like, whatever, if you weigh me, I want to like face the other way and I don't want to see the number. But no, it was up on this big Jumbotron in the gym.
And it was Jumbotron.
Yeah, it was it was like a Patriots game. No, it was huge. In my mind, roll with me, Darwin. This is what I saw.
Okay.
It was in these giant flashing numbers with like fireworks and everything around it. And,
my God.
And I remember just being so bummed about that number. And that night, after the training session, and that night we had a remote at a strip club. And I remember being really sad. And I was sitting there and my head was in my hands and I was just crying about, that number. And all the strippers came over to console me.
Dancers
Came over to console me. And it was actually a beautiful moment.
I remember this. There was just a circle of them all around you, and they were just feeling so. They're like, "What's the matter?" And you're like, "I had to weigh in.
I got my number. Oh, honey, I don't even look anymore." And they all had states' names. It was like Tennessee was telling me about her macrobiotic diet that worked for her, and Nevada is now a fruitarian. And I felt better.
I did feel bad because it wasn't you're like Jumbo. They tweeted it out. They put it on the billboard out front, right? But
they had a truck driving around with the number on it.
Well, I think
and a guy with a sandwich board out front.
I think the best part, it's getting worse by the second. I think the worst part was we had to go to the grand finale at the end. And they were going to announce who was, lost the most weight. And they had all these different categories. And I think, wasn't there one of the categories? I think it was media or sponsor or something, personality who lost the most. And you did lose some weight. It was successful.
Of course.
But I remember you were panicking because remember we had to take a before and after picture too from the side.
God, this is so
and they had to
awful.
Lay with your shirt up a little bit.
Don't make
what I mean?
girls do this.
Oh, I didn't want to do it either.
Send me to
horrible.
Pilates or something where I can wear a pink crop top.
Yeah, and there was, and you were panicking because you were like, "Oh my God, I hope I wasn't the one. I hope I won't win. I hope I don't win. Oh my God, Darwin, I think I might have won. I hope I didn't win." Because you realized truly on the Jumbotron they were going to put your side view at the before, which I don't care how much you lose. I don't want my side view ever up there. I don't care if I'm right. If you look banging. It doesn't matter. Nobody wants to see the before ever, right? And remember the woman who had won it and she went from being like, maybe 2 or 3 pounds from being cut out of her double wide someday to but she was kind of
just like a lot of tapioca in a bag.
But she lost all the weight and still looked kind of, I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but I'm not. But give me a word here. She looked kind of
blobulous.
But she wasn't fat anymore. She was just not pretty. But it wasn't you. And you were so relieved. Because when they called somebody else, you were like,
"Oh,
yes!"
Like
really loudly, yes! And everybody kind of looked like you were so happy to lose. Congratulations.
Yes, it was the best losing moment of my life. But I just want to say, it's like the Gold's Gym was not a girl workout. And women can work out really hard. Women can kick ass, but I can't do chin-ups. There is no universe where I could ever do that. All right, hop up on that bar, Cat, and just give me about 15. I'm like, I can't do this.
That wasn't your thing.
No.
I also loved how, I mean, Dominic was great, but sometimes he'd be like trying to like get us to be like, come on, Cat, Darwin can do like, 10, 20 of these. What about you?
Cat,
You can
come
do
on.
it.
Darwin can pee standing up. Why can't you?
Come on, give it a try. Tough, right?
I don't have good aim, Dominic. I can't. I need to squat.
He was trying to motivate you using whatever he could.
I don't think
was
he'd.
good.
I think he'd never trained a lady before.
He also he just found us to be funny too, because we would crack him up the whole time.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we amused him through the tears, through my tears.
We were amusing.
Of
we
course.
Just were, we were just amusing people.
We're delightful to be around. That is true.
Are. We did. That was the little trip through our sponsors, that good and bad, that paid for the radio show. We had many more sponsors, but I think those are the most memorable. I'm trying to think of anything else comes to mind. And I didn't hate the Gold's Gym Challenge, by the way. I kind of wish I could have an opportunity to do something like that again, because it was free. We didn't have to pay for it.
You can keep the Gold's Challenge. I'll stick with the dildos.
That's your takeaway.
Yep.
By the way, one last note on those. Did we ever give those away, or are they still sitting in a drawer somewhere at Albany Broadcasting?
Next time on Darwin and Cat.
And open our hearts to the many disadvantaged children in our local area.
Toys for Joy.
Nay. I'm thinking toys for tots.
Take 97.
I'll get it this time. God damn it.
Half an hour.
All right.